Hello everyone, hope all of you are doing great, and in today's video we are going to discuss Progression Test 2025 Paper 1. The first question over here says to you, here are some numbers written in standard form, and they're not always going to tell you that they are written in standard form. You can just note and recognize them. All right, so here they're telling you to arrange them or to write down the largest and the smallest of these numbers. Since they are all written in the standard form, then you should actually find the smallest power or the smallest index, and it is definitely the smallest number. So the smallest index that you have over here is this one. It is to the power of -8. This is the smallest index. So this is the smallest power, the smallest number, 5.0 multiplied by 10 to the power of -8. While you can recognize here the one with the greatest power. The greatest power over here is 10 to the power of 6. So it is 3.2 multiplied by 10 to the power of 6. Naomi buys a mobile phone, drawing around the most appropriate value for the amount of internal storage on her mobile phone. You're gonna find over here that this is meter, nanometer. Nanometer, this is for distance, not the storage of a phone. You're gonna find that this is a ton, which is about the mass of something and how heavy it is. This is microliter, liter. This is about capacity and about liquid. The only one is about the internal storage or about the storage of something related to software or related to computers and technology. This is the only one. Here, they need from you two possible answers. So P could be what? I know that P plus Q equals what? Equals 2. And they told you find the two pairs of values of P and Q to make the equation correct. So P plus Q, you can say that P is 1 and Q is also 1. You can say that this, for example, is -4, and this one is actually 6. You can say that, or 6 and -4. So there are many, many different options. The most important thing is that the values that you choose, when you add them up, they will give you 2. So I can say this is 6 and this is -4. When I add them up, they're going to give me 2. You can say this is 5 and this one is -3. When you add them up, they're going to give you also 2. You can say 1 of 1, yes, because they did not actually say that they are different. They didn't say that, but let's stay away from 1 of 1. Here is a sequence with nth term, n squared plus 4. Find the 12th term. So the 12th term, I'm going to say 12 squared plus 4, 144 plus 4, 148. Here is a different sequence. By comparing this sequence to the sequence in part A, find an expression for the nth term of this sequence. You're going to find that I'm just adding a 2. This is the same as the one at the bottom over here, but I'm just adding a 2 to it. So I added 2 to the 5, I added 2 to the 8, I added 2 to the 13, and so on. So it is the same as n squared plus 4, but I'm going to add 2 to it, so it's n squared plus 6. Those who are going to avoid the comparison and they're going to just find that the nth term of this quadratic sequence are also going to be correct, finding that it is n squared plus 6. Drawing around each of the two irrational numbers, you're going to find that this is irrational and this is irrational. The rest are rational. Interior plus exterior should give you 180. So this is 120, this is definitely 60, because if you add them up, they give you 180. And this one over here is going to be 108 degrees. If you add them up, they're going to give you 180. Explain why polygon A tessellates, because polygon A here tessellates because the interior angle, which is actually what? Which is 120 degrees, is a factor of 360 degrees. That's it, because 120 is a factor of 360. Or by the way, it could be also the exterior. Fine, it's also a factor of 360. Rearrange the formula to make b the subject. So I can switch them first. So b squared minus 4 equals a. Now you're going to send the negative 4 to the other side, positive 4. So b squared equals a plus 4. Then I'm going to get the root of them. So b equals square root of a plus 4. Line L has the equation 2y equals negative 5x plus c. They want from you the coordinates of the y-intercept. Well, we know that the coordinates of the y-intercept, which is where the line crosses the y-axis, the x-axis must be 0. So the x is always 0. This is where the line crosses the y-axis. So now we need to know the y-intercept. We learned that the equation is y equals mx plus c. So y must be the subject. So y equals negative 5x plus 6 over 2. So what's the gradient? We don't want the gradient, mister. Yes, I understand, but just in case, the gradient is the coefficient of x, which is negative 5. Yes, but it is not negative 5. It's negative 5 over 2. While the y-intercept over here is 6 over 2, so it is 3. So the y-intercept is 6 over 2, which is equal to 3. So it is 0, 3. The square root of 64 is 8 or negative 8. True. While negative 3 squared is negative 9. False, because it's negative 3 times negative 3, which is positive 9. Rajiv spins each of his spinners once. Complete the tree diagram with the 5 missing probabilities. So here, the 4-sided spinner, the shaded is only 1 over 4, so the unshaded is 3 over 4. And here, the 5-sided spinner, the shaded is only 2 over 5, so the unshaded is 3 over 5. The shaded is 2 over 5. The unshaded is 3 over 5. The same. Find the probability that both spinners land on an unshaded section. Unshaded, unshaded, both means this and this, not or. So I need to multiply. And means multiplication. Unshaded and unshaded, that means 3 over 4 and 3 over 5 equals 9 over 20. This is the answer. A rectangle has a perimeter of 15 centimeters. The rectangle is enlarged by a scale factor of 2. Work out the parameter of the enlarged rectangle. So they're saying to you that it is 15 centimeters, got enlarged, scale factor 2. So I multiply by the scale factor, which is 30 centimeters. That's if they are asking about the new parameter. If they were asking about the new area, we would have said old area times the scale factor squared. Not only scale factor like what we've done with the parameter, but they don't want the area. I'm just explaining it to you just in case. The area of the rectangle is 11 centimeters squared. Work out the area of the enlarged rectangle. Ah, okay, we need it over here actually. So I'm gonna erase the crossing that I've done. So this is the explanation of this. So they wanted the area. So the area is actually 11. The new area is 11, which is the old area, times scale factor, which is 2, but it's 2 squared. So it is 11 times 4, which is going to give you 44 centimeters squared. Here, in order to find something that is in between, we need to get an equivalent of fraction. So multiply this by 2. Multiply this by 2 gives you negative 12 over 26. While this, multiplying it by 2 gives you negative 10 over 26. So something that is in between is negative 11 over 26. And if you want more numbers in between, you multiply this by 3, a bigger number. This is by 3, this is by 3, this is by 3. Is going to create a bigger gap in the middle. A bag contains some counters. Each counter is numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. A counter is taken at random from the bag. The table shows some of the probabilities. They want you to complete the table to show the probability of taking a counter numbered 4. You add the 3 of them up, then you minus them from 1. Adding the 3 of them up is going to give you 0.65. So minusing it from one whole gives you 0.35. Mike takes a counter at random from the bag. He records the number on the counter and replaces the counter in the bag. So he replaces it, which means he sends it or puts it back in the bag. He repeats this process until he has recorded 40 numbers. So he did this 40 times. Work out how many times he should expect to record the number 3. So the probability of number 3 is actually 0.3. Multiplying it by 40 because he has done this 40 times, it is going to give you exactly 120, but I have one decimal place, so it is 12 times. It is expected that he gets a 3 12 times. The 40 multiplied by 0.3. Find the smallest possible number of counters in the bag. Well, to do this, actually, you need to turn them into a fraction. And we have the smallest or the lowest common multiple of the denominator. But again, we need to turn them first into fractions. So the 1, the probability of it is 1 over 10. While the 2, the probability of it is 1/4. And the 3, the probability of it is 3 over 10. And the 4, the probability of it is 35 over 100. But the simplest form, you divide here by 5, you divide here by 5, is going to give you 7 over 20. Yeah, all right. This means here that I need to find, they are requesting from you. So again, the first step, I converted them into a fraction that has the simplest form. So a fraction that has the simplest form, done. After that, they wanted the smallest possible number of counters in the bag. The smallest possible number of counters in the bag, which is the denominator. So I need the smallest possible denominator, which means that the lowest common multiple of the denominators or the lowest common denominator. What is the lowest common denominator? All of them can turn into 20. Check that largest denominator, 20. Can the 10 turn into a 20? Yes. Can the 4 turn into a 20? Yes. Can the 10 turn into a 20? Yes. And by turning, I mean multiplying it by something that makes it 20. Yes. So you're going to find that the smallest possible number of counters is 20. A cylinder has a base radius of 5 centimeters and a height of 4 centimeters. Draw a ring around the closest estimate for the volume of the cylinder. Well, you're going to find over here they are requesting an estimate. So the volume is the area of the cross-section, multiplied by the height. What is the area of the cross-section? They want an estimate, so it's pi times r squared. Let's assume that pi, let's round it because they are requesting pi. We know that it's 3.14, but let's round it since they are already requesting an estimate. So I'm going to say 3. Only the pi is going to be 3. So instead of pi times r squared for the area of the cross-section, then I multiply by height. I'm going to say that pi is just 3. They're requesting an estimate anyway. Times r squared, which is 5 squared, which is 25. Times the height, which is 4. This is going to give you an estimate of the volume, which is going to be what? Is going to give you 300, approximately 300 centimeters cubed. So the closest estimate is this one, right? This is the closest, 340 centimeters cubed. The mapping diagram represents the function y equals 5x squared. So multiplying here, saying that x is 2, so it is 5 multiplied by 2 squared, which is 5 times 4, which is 20. 0.5, so it is 5 multiplied by 0.5 squared, means 0.5 times 0.5, which is 0.25. But yes, we are multiplying it by 5, so it is 0.25 multiplied by 5 equals, you're going to find that it is 125, but I have two decimal places, so 1.25. Again, I just did 5 multiplied by 0.5 squared. It gave me 1.25. All right, what about the rest? 80. They're saying that y is 80 equals 5x squared. You can send the 5 to the other side, division, so it becomes here, you're going to find that it is 16 exactly, equals x squared. So x is the square root of 16, and we learned that the square root of any number could be positive or negative. So a prism has 7 planes of symmetry. So let's just learn about the planes of symmetry. Any for any prism equals the number of sides of the cross section. Number of sides of the cross section plus 1. All right. So they said to you that it has what? 7 planes of symmetry. So n plus 1 equals 7. How many sides is the cross section? Well, the number of sides is 6. So it has 6 sides. Write down the name of that polygon, of that cross section. It is a hexagon. I'm going to repeat it again right now. You should know that the planes of symmetry of any prism, it is the same as 1 plus the number of sides of the cross section. They're telling you the prism has a cross section that is a regular polygon. All right, so we need to know what is that regular polygon. What is the cross section? I don't know what's the number of sides of the cross section, but I know that the number of sides of that cross section plus 1 should give me the planes of symmetry, which is 7. How many sides is that regular polygon? It is 6. So it is a hexagon because they requested the name. Here you can multiply the first equation by 3 to eliminate the y's, or you can multiply the second equation here by 2 to eliminate the x. I'm going to choose to multiply the first equation here by 3 to eliminate the y's. So here the new equation is going to become 12x minus 3y equals 33. So the second equation, I'm going to keep it the same, which is 2x plus 3y equals just 2. I kept it the same. So you need to subtract over here or add. Well, they are ready for elimination. If I say minus, will this help you eliminate the y's? No, mister. The subtraction will make them addition, will turn this into negative 6. If you say negative 3y minus 3y, this is going to give you negative 6y. So it is not going to work. So it is addition. 12x plus 2x is going to give you 14x. Negative 3y plus 3y by, that's why I chose addition, equals 35. All right, let's continue. So x equals what? 35 over 14. Let's do this. 35 over 14. How many 14s are in 35? You're going to find that we've got 2, which is going to lead to 28. You subtract, it gives you here a 7. right? So I need 0.0, so you put the point up and you bring the 0 down. 70. So you're going to find that it is 5 exactly. Goes into 5 times 14 is 70. Bye-bye. Done. So it is x equals 2.5. 2.5. I still need to find the y. So you can choose any of the two equations and substitute x with 2.5. So you can say here 2 multiplied by 2.5 plus, I chose the second one over here, 2x plus 3y equals 2. So 2 multiplied by 2.5 plus 3y equals 2, which is 5 plus 3y equals also 2. So 3y equals -3, because sending it at 5 over there, -5, so y equals -1. Now x is 2.5, y is -1. If you want to substitute and make sure if you're right or wrong, it's fine. You can choose any of the two equations. So 4x minus y, for example, and I need to see if I substitute, will it really be 11 or not? So 4 multiplied by x, which is 4 multiplied by 2.5, is going to give you a 10. Minus the y, which is minus -1. 10 minus -1 means 10 plus 1, which is 11. Yes, it worked, so I definitely got it right. Question 18, the cost of hiring a taxi is $2 fixed cost. Look at that, $2 fixed cost. Before the taxi even moves, it is $2. Plus X dollars per kilometer for the first 10 kilometers. So for the first 10 kilometers, how much do you pay per kilometer? They told you here that the first 10 kilometers, they cost actually $8. $8 for the first 10 kilometers. So how much per kilometer? Well, if it is $8 for 10 kilometers, then if you wanted per kilometer, divide this by 10, divide this by 10. So it is 0.8 for 1 kilometer, right? So it is $0.8 per kilometer for the first 10 kilometers of the journey. So it is 0.8. X is 0.8. All right. The second question is saying that you find the total cost for a journey of 25 kilometers. Use the graph to help you. So 25 kilometers, they're saying to you 0.50 per kilometer for the next 15 kilometers. So for the next 15 kilometers, it is 0.5 per kilometer. Per kilometer. So for the 15 kilometers, all of them, so 0.5 multiplied by 15 kilometers is going to give you 7.5. So for the coming 15 kilometers, he's going to pay $7.5. Well, which adds to the 10, $17.5. Again, they told you that it's half per kilometer for the next 15 kilometers. So the next 15 kilometers in total, they cost $7.5 in total. 0.5 per kilometer times 15 kilometers is going to give you 7.5. So all of this is 7.5. Added to the 10 is going to give you 17.5 dollars. Question 19. The scale drawing shows the positions of two towns, A and B. Town C is 3 kilometers from town B. I'm going to need just to open the application over here and to take this question. Let's just get it. Take the whole question. Let's do this. To the application. Here you go. So here they're telling you that the scale is 1 to 50,000. And we agreed before when we took this lesson that 1 to 50,000 simply means 1 centimeter to 50,000 centimeters. Okay, mister, but they want it in kilometers. So I need to divide first by 100 to turn it into meters. Not this one, not to divide this. To divide this one by 100 to get it into centimeters, into meters. So 1 centimeter is what? You're going to find it is 500 meters. Yes, mister. But again, they want it into kilometers. So you can divide by 1,000 now to make it into kilometers. So you're going to find that it is 0.5 kilometers. 1 centimeter, I do not change the centimeter. I wanted the centimeter that is here because I need to see 1 centimeter of my drawing is equal to how many kilometers? 1 centimeter of my drawing is equal to 500 meters, which is equal to 0.5 kilometers. Or you could have divided from the very beginning by 100,000, which is also going to lead to 0.5 kilometers. All right, this is about the scale, which is extremely important. The bearing of town C from town A is 0.040, which is 40 degrees. Okay, so the first thing that I'm supposed to do is to go to the A and use my protractor, and we learned that the bearing is clockwise. So I'm going to put my center of the protractor this way. You're going to find that the dimensions are different actually on your paper. Let me just make this, I guess it's going to be a little bit bigger. The dimensions on your paper is going to be a little bit different, but the angle is not going to be different. So here it is. I'm going to measure 40 degrees, which is here, this direction, right? 40 degrees from town A, which is here. Here is the 40 degrees. Okay, I'm going to put this away. This is the bearing of town C from town A. I'm going to put a point and erase my arrow. I just drew the arrow for a technical reason because I could not point it using that digital protractor. All right, so let's continue. I know that town C is somewhere this direction now. Somewhere this direction. I know it for sure. How? Because I found the bearing from town A. All right, done. Okay, but they told you that town C is somewhere on this line, yes, and they told you that it is 3 kilometers from town B. 3 kilometers from town B, then definitely I'm going to have two possible positions. So the two possible positions that you're going to find, you need the compasses for it. And measure how many we said? We said it is 3 kilometers away from town B. 1 centimeter is half kilometer. So I need 6 centimeters for 3 kilometers. So I'm going to open the compasses 6 centimeters. Now, this represents 3 kilometers because I know that each centimeter is half a kilometer. So 2 centimeters is 1 whole kilometer. So I need 6 centimeters for the 3 kilometers. Now we go to the line and draw the arc. Look at this. This shows that this point is exactly 6 centimeters away from line B, from town B. And this also is 6 centimeters away from town B. So this could be town C. This could be town C. It is one of them because actually both of them are on a bearing of 40 degrees from town A, and both of them are 6 centimeters, which is 3 kilometers away from town B. That's it. Next question, question 20. You're going to find here, let me zoom in again, -2, second, okay, I need to, here, -2 minus, I don't know what this is, let's say it's x, minus x should give you -6. So -x equals, send this there, +2. So -6 plus 2 is -4. So x is just 4. If you try -2 minus 4 is going to give you -6. Mister, I could do it mentally. Great, exactly. -2 minus what will give you -6? This is the easiest way. -2 minus 4 will give you -6. Here, this one, I should do this part first, which is equal to -9 to the power of 1 divided by 9 to the power of 7. So 1 minus 7, which is 9 to the power of -6. So 2 multiplied by -3 will give you the 9 to the power of -6. A rectangle has a width of 4x centimeters and area of 16x squared y plus 4x centimeters squared. Find an expression in terms of x and y for the length. Well, I know that the length equals area divided by width, right? No, mister, I didn't know that. Well, you should know that area equals length times width. And if you want the length, then I'm going to send the width there, division. So length equals A over W. That's what we've written. Okay, mister, now I understand. Good. So to find the length, I need to do the area, which is 16x squared y plus 4x over the width, which is only 4x. Doing this actually means that this over 4x plus, what does it mean? It means this over 4x plus 4x over 4x. This is what we've done actually. I've done here, the denominators are the same, and adding the numerators is going to take you back to this, right? So now we can simplify. 16x squared y divided by 4x, 4x divided by 4x. So it's both of them. Why did I do this? You don't actually have to do it, but I'm just explaining it to you that you must divide this by 4x. You must divide this by 4x. All right. So what is it going to be equal to? This divided by 4x is going to give you 4x only, because x squared divided by x is only x, and then the y stays the same. Plus 4x divided by 4x is just 1. This is the final answer. This is the expression for the length. All right, I also need to take this one to the application. I got a new page. All right, so shape A is shown on the grid. All what we need is this only. Let's do it. All right. Shape A is mapped onto shape B by a reflection in the line x equals y. So I need to draw the mirror line first. So the mirror line over here, x equals 1, is this one here. Here you go, mister. This is x equals 1. All right. let's do the reflection to find shape B. So this is one far away from the mirror line, so one far away the other side of the mirror. So this is, let's just say that this is A, and the image of it is A dash, and this is the image of A. If I say that this is B, then the image of it is here. This is the image of B, and this is C, so the image of it is going to become here 1, 2, 3, 4. So then 1, 2, 3, 4. It is this one over here. This is the image of C. Then after connecting it, look at that, but let me change the color, make it blue. Here you go. This is the image B. All right, but they told you then that B is reflected again. Shape B is mapped onto shape C by a reflection in the line y equals -2. Then you need to draw y equals -2 once more. Not once more, that's a new one. Y equals -2. This is the mirror line. Reflected through this, I need to draw the new reflection, which is shape C. So here, A, B, C, let's draw it again. Let's reflect them through y equals -2. So B is going to be here 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I need 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be the image of B. And C, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be C. And A, it's going to become over here. This is A, the image of A. All right, now let's draw it. This is the final one. Shape C. They told you that shape B, shape A got reflected, got actually transformed through a single transformation. Describe fully the single transformation that maps A onto shape C. So A to become C right away in one transformation, definitely, mister, it is very clear that it is rotation. All right. How many degrees? You're gonna find if you trace this shape on your tracing paper and you rotate it 90 degrees, and then it's not gonna give you this shape, and then 90 degrees again, you're gonna find that it is 180 degrees exactly. Some people might recognize it just by looking at it. Fine. If you can't, then use your tracing paper and you will find out that it is 180 degrees. The 180 degrees rotation, it is very easy actually to find the center of rotation with the 180 degrees. And this works only with 180 degrees rotation. The center of rotation here is going to be as follows. First, I need to choose any angle. So for example here, B, the vertex B. I need to see what happened to it until it goes to the new image. So B moved 1, 2 left. Good. Remember this. So it is 2 left. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down. So 8 down. Do half of this and you will find that center of rotation. That works only with the 180 degrees. So doing half of it means move 1 left. So I moved now 1 left. And instead of 8 down, it's going to be 4 down. So 1, 2, 3, 4 down. This is the center of rotation, which is 1, -2. So it is 1, -2. Let's continue. Multiplying the new fractions over here, the fractions first, so 2 and 1/5, turn it first into improper fraction, into a mixed number, is going to give you 11/5 minus 14 over 15 multiplied by 3 over 8. Simplify first, please. So you need to simplify these first. Dividing it by 3 is 1, dividing it by 3 is 5, dividing it by 2 is 4, dividing it by 2 is 7. So it is minus 7 over 20. Okay? So now I need to multiply this by 4 and this by 4 in order to make the denominators the same. So 44 over 20 minus 7 over 20 equals, if you subtract them, it's going to give you exactly 37 over 20, which is, as a mixed number in the simplest form, is going to give you 1 and 17 over 20. I asked myself, how many 20s do I have in 37? It's at 1 remainder 17. The next question here says to you, Ahmed thinks of a number. He adds 12 to his number and then divides it by 2. Safia thinks of a number. She multiplies her number by 3 over 2 and then takes away 4. Ahmed says there is one number we could both think of that would give us the same answer. So if I say that Ahmed thinks of a number x, they said both of them think of the same number. So Safia thinks of a number also x. All of them have the same answer at the end, which means that this is equal to this. We need, by writing and solving an equation in terms of n, okay, so it is not x, it is n. Find the answer that Ahmed and Safia both get. So don't forget, they don't want n. They wanted the answer that they get at the end, which must happen first by finding n. All right, so let's take it step by step. Ahmed thinks of a number n. He adds 12, so n plus 12. And then divides by 2. Then this is divided by 2 equals, Safia thinks of a number n. She multiplies her number by 3 over 2, which means the 3n over 2. And then takes away 4, the minus 4. All right. How can I find the value of n this way? Okay, in order to find the value of n, first we need to separate the n's from the constants. So this shows that it is n over 2 plus 12 over 2, which is just a 6, equals 3n over 2 minus 4. Get the n's to, so the first trick actually to solve this equation to be solved is very tricky, to be honest with you. You should have noticed first that n here is divided by 2, so n over 2 plus the 12 is divided also by 2, so it is 12 over 2, which is a 6. Now it becomes very easy to solve. Get the n's together and the constants that have no variables also together. And as we agreed before, it is going to be much better that you take the small one to the big one. So here, the 6 plus 4, I got the negative 4 to the other side. And here, 3n over 2 minus n over 2 equals 6. By the way, those who took the 3n over 2 to the other side is not going to be wrong, but you must be careful with the sign. Here, 6 plus 4 is 10, equals the 3n over 2 minus n over 2 will give you 2n over 2. Oh, mister, 2n over 2, that gives me only n equals 10. Be careful with solving the equations. The first trick, don't forget it. N over 2 plus 12 over 2, which is n over 2 plus 12 over 2 is just a 6. Collect like terms after that. And you simplify, you find that n is 10. Is this the final answer? No, this is not the final answer. The final answer, I must find the answer. They wanted the final answer. Take any of them. We found that n is 10. Ahmed thinks of a number 10. We found that already n is 10. He adds 12 to it. gives you 22, and then divides by 2 gives you 11. So the answer is 11. Mr. I tried it on Safia, the same thing exactly. Safia thinks of a number. We found out that it is 10. She multiplies her number by 3 over 2, gives her 30 over 2, which is 15. Then she takes away 4, gives you also 11. So both will lead to 11. Question 25. Point P has coordinates P4. Point Q has coordinates Q4, where Q is smaller than 0. So Q is negative. Negative number. Q is the image of P after a reflection in the line x equals -5. So Q is the image of P. All right, once to make it realistic, I'm going to draw straight lines. You don't have to, but I'm going to just, to help you understand it, here, let's say that this is the x-axis. Here is the y-axis. All right, so x and y. They told you the middle line is x equals -5. So let's imagine that this is the -5. So the middle line is here. Here is the middle line going through x equals -5. As I told you, it doesn't have to be an accurate coordinate plane. This is x equals -5, the middle line. And they told me that P is Q is a negative number. For Q to be a negative number, Mia says P must be greater than -5. P must be greater than -5, so she's saying that P must be here. P must be somewhere over here. Well, for Q to happen, what is happening over here? Why is it going away? All right, 1 second. She's saying that P must be greater than -5, must be here. For Q to be here, well, yes, this is possible that P can be greater than -5. It becomes here and Q becomes here, but it doesn't have to be this way. Why, mister? Because actually you can have P as -6, for example, over here. P can be here, can be -6 at -6, and the Q will be over here at -4, and it's still negative. They told you that Q is negative. So P can be also -6 or -7, then Q will be -3, too far away from the -5, so too far away from the -5 here. P can be -8, and then Q will be -2. P can be -9, and Q will be -1, then you stop. Then P could be any number from -6 until -9. P could be -6, P could be -7, -8, or -9. It cannot be more than that. It can be not be less than that. It cannot be -10, because if P is -10, then Q is going to be a 0, which is not going to be correct because they told you that Q is negative. It is less than 0. So write any possible value for P of P to show that Mia is not correct. P could be -6, P could be -7, could be -8, could be -9. Any of them would give you the mark. That's it. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you in another video.